Top Gun Maverick was quite a great movie. I was really pleasantly surprised when I watched it. At first, before I saw it, I watched the 1986 version of Top Gun, and of course that was great, as it always has been when I've watched it before. And I went on to then go ahead and watch Maverick, and I was prepared to be disappointed, to tell you the truth, because I've seen many a time movies come back 20 or 30 years later that just kind of lose their original charm. I was very pleasantly surprised, though, by Top Gun Maverick. For one thing, Tom Cruise, even after all those years, at almost 60 years old, he still looked really good. He looked like he was in shape, a little bit older, but he still played the part really well, and you got the feeling he was still in really good shape, and he was top notch. And the movie, I would say, Maverick, in some ways it was even better than the original. I was really pleasantly surprised by that. It starts out high octane. The part where he's testing this new super jet that goes up to Mach 10, and he brings it up to Mach 10. That was really fun to watch. It shows how he's accelerating the thing, and he's got his mission is to get it up to Mach 10 so he can save the project. So he's getting up to 9.567, and then he goes a little bit further than Mach 10. Unfortunately, when he does this, of course, the test vehicle that he's flying kind of disintegrates, and he somehow ejects. Now, that part I think might be a little bit unrealistic. No one's going to be able to eject from something going Mach 10 and survive, but you know, who cares? It was still really fun to watch. And then it shows him, really doesn't show him ejecting, it just shows the thing breaking up. And then it shows him walking into a coffee shop, presumably after after the plane has crashed and he's gotten back to the ground. So anyway, of course, naturally, in doing what he did, he broke orders again. So the admiral's not too happy with him. He immediately takes him off the project, and then he's sent back to top flight school again, but this time as an instructor. And I thought that was kind of an interesting twist. When before he starts the instruction, though, before he starts his working there, he goes to a bar, and apparently one of the people there, a lady named Penny, already knew him, and I gather from their interaction that they had already been involved with each other. And of course, in some ways this is sort of similar to the romance that he had previously had in the original Top Gun with Charlie, except he already kind of knew her, and she was a little bit reluctant to get back into it with Maverick, but they were there was a little bit of chemistry between them, but sort of like the original Top Gun, I can't say I was really impressed with the romantic scenes of the movie, but there again, that's not the type of movie this is. So anyway, he goes on. He goes to the Top Gun school to teach it this time, and he's basically able to wow all the students. He's able to impress them because he's able to basically outdo all of them. And granted, these are not just new students. These are skilled pilots that are being sent there for a refresher. The basic idea behind what they're doing is Maverick is trying to give this class special training so they can go on a highly specialized very risky, very difficult mission, and they all have to be at their absolute best, and they have to train specifically for this mission, which is really, it's a really tough mission. They have to fly really low, really fast, and get in there and bomb this target, this enemy target. So there's a lot of real intensity. To add a really interesting twist to it, Goose's son, and if you remember, Goose died in the original Top Gun, but his son went on also to become a pilot, and this is something that apparently Maverick had held back his son because he had promised his mother that he wouldn't, you know, that he wouldn't let her son die in the same way that Goose had died in. So anyway, Rooster found out somehow that this had happened, and he was kind of resentful against Maverick for what he did. He didn't like that. He definitely didn't like that Maverick had tried to hold him back. And this is something that, you know, I don't think Maverick had intended to get out there, but one of the other students brought it up, and there was some tension there. Anyway, as it goes on, Maverick does more intense training, and the students seem like they're having a really hard time flying this super difficult course that they have to follow to stay below radar and to go really fast and to fly around mountainous terrain. Just absolutely insane. And there are also some parts of it where they're pulling huge amounts of G's, and some of the students are having difficulty with it. But Maverick is really pushing these kids, and at some point there's a problem. One of the planes get lost, and so during one of the exercises, so of course they just pull Maverick off the whole thing, and well, at least their intention was to pull him out of there and just say, hey, you're not doing this anymore. We're going to take a different method to do the mission. We're going to go slower, and because you don't think these pilots can handle this high speed, but also is essentially risking the very high risk that they're going to get shot down if they go slower, like the new plan. Anyway, just after they tell Maverick he's pulled from the project and he's out, Maverick goes ahead and he makes an unplanned flight. He gets in the plane and he flies the course in I think it was 2.5 minutes. And he's doing this to prove, hey, this can be done. You know, it is possible to do it. And he does it, and he hits the target, the test target, and does everything. And they're pissed. Of course, he violated orders. He absolutely was not supposed to do this. But he showed that, hey, it can be done this way. And that was really the only reasonable way it could be done, because they don't get out there fast, they're going to get hit, they're going to get shot down. So they go ahead and they change Maverick from being a specialized instructor to now he's going to be the team lead, so he's going to take over the mission. So he does that, and they go for the mission. Eventually they launch from the aircraft carrier, they go in, they're flying over this mountainous terrain, and during all this, oh God, the footage on this stuff is just absolutely fantastic. They've, I guess with newer special effects and everything, they've really made the scenes just absolutely, you know, captivating. Anyway, after they bomb the target, they successfully blow up. It was an underground uranium depot that the enemy had. They needed to destroy it. So on their way getting out of the target area, of course, they're firing missiles and they're trying to shoot them down with their super advanced enemy planes. They all pretty much get out, except in the process, Maverick winds up getting shot down trying to save one of the other pilots, and in the process, he winds up ejecting. He winds up landing on the ground. Well, bottom line is, after he lands on the ground, an attack helicopter comes after, shooting at him. He's trying to run away, and then one of the other pilots comes to the rescue. Winds up also getting shot down, but he destroys the helicopter. They steal an F-14 from the enemy airfield that they had kind of blown up, and they really make a harrowing escape. They have a dogfight with some of these super advanced enemy jets on the way out. They shoot down a couple of them, and then finally at the end, they are rescued, and they make it back to the ship. Anyway, I'm not exactly hitting all the details perfectly, but you can watch the movie, and I can guarantee you one thing: this movie is really it's hard to believe, but it's actually an improvement over the original movie. I have seen so many times when they've come back and make a movie years later, and it's never as good as the original. A lot of times it just falls flat. I was kind of felt like that with some of the latest Star Wars movies. They didn't really come across very well, but this one it did, and I think that not only did it match up, but I'd say it was definitely a little bit better than the original. There again, as I said, the romance with this lady Penny, that left a little bit to be desired, and she had a daughter, and apparently Maverick had a relationship with her before, and I was kind of wondering in the back of my head when I was watching the movie, well, you know, is this daughter going to somehow turn out to be Maverick's daughter, but he didn't know about? But of course, they never developed that at all. They just briefly showed her in a couple scenes, and that she was there, but they didn't really go into that. But then again, that's not the type of movie it is. You know, I sometimes, I would have liked to see a little bit more development on that, but then again, it's already a 2-hour movie. If you're going to put much more of that, you'd maybe have to push it up to 3 hours, and maybe that's a little long. Anyway, I would absolutely recommend this movie. It's action-packed. Its continuity is really good. It sticks on the mission that they're trying to accomplish. So go ahead, please watch it, and let me know what you think. Leave the comments below. Thank you so much.